And yes, we are live now, folks. So, hey, folks, this is me, Vishwas
Hello.
Nair. I'm the host of this webinar, and I'm with Vinod. Thank you so much, Vinod, for being on the show. Means a lot. And we at Devtron believe in accelerating your GitOps process, and we really felt like, there is a knowledge gap that everybody has in their journey, and we literally wanted to fill that knowledge gap. And who else other than Vinod, who has been an amazing DevOps engineer for a very long time now, and he has also witnessed a lot of changes in the industry. And he's going to give you a comprehensive overview, which is going to be a comprehensive introduction to the GitOps practices that you need to follow in your organization. Thank you so much, sir, for being on the show. Means a lot. Let's get the show
Yeah,
started.
sure. Thanks, Vishwas and Devtron, for the opportunity to give the session on the GitOps 101. It's my pleasure to start. So let's get started. Yeah,
Sure, I'm sharing your screen now, and you can go
sure.
ahead with it.
Yeah,
Sure, your
hope my
screen is
screen is
visible.
visible.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So hello, folks. Yeah. So let's get started. Before starting, I would like to give a gist. So the background would be like no to start the GitOps. We need some etiquettes we should know the Docker, Kubernetes, and lots. Nothing is required. Okay, if you have a very basic knowledge on DevOps, at least how the containers, Kubernetes just functions, that's enough. And later we can pick it up. So yeah. So before the session starts, I would like to give you a very short things. It is a GitOps 101. So people who don't know what is the number 101 which I'm talking, 101 is like no American education syllabus standard. Like 101 means basic, or you can say beginner course. So all we can do is the entire session would be beginner in nature. So I'll be starting the basic points one by one. So then we'll get into the demo session, then get into what went wrong, what went no well, everything I'll just suggest. So yeah, this is me, myself, Vinod. I'm working as a cloud DevOps engineer at Amadeus Labs, and you can see all the things what I have done in my past. I have written a book on DevOps tools, which is in Amazon Kindle, and I have working in different organizations. I'm part of the communities like no DevOps Bangalore, Docker Bangalore, all these communities. I have written a blogs, and you can see me all these things. You can follow me on the LinkedIn or on Medium. And if you are very much lazy, you can just Google it, my name with Vinod Kumar space P. You can get me over there, and you can get in touch with me. You can connect me over LinkedIn and question me if you have found anything which I can help you. You can think you can ping me. So directly we'll jump into the session. So what we cannot see in this session, it will be as I said, it will be basic in nature, which means all high level, but still we'll get deep into some of the topics, some basic concepts. No, before getting to DevOps, sorry, GitOps. Then GitOps, what is it? What is the good thing about the GitOps? What is the benefit which we use GitOps? Then any tools which suppose GitOps that we're gonna see. Then GitOps pipeline, and then conclusions. When I say conclusions, we are going to talk what went good, and some ugly stories I'm going to reveal. No, if you not follow this, the system will be in a chaos and we'll be in a problematic. As a DevOps people, we might have seen many issues in the past, like very small issues, maybe the indentation issue. Some as I said, indentation, small mistakes which would have cost many things. Like no, we had a sleepless nights and everything. So to avoid that, I'll give some suggestions. Just follow it. So to start your GitOps journey. Yeah. So before the GitOps things, as I mentioned, we'll just brush up our basic things. So the basics of CI/CD and Kubernetes, and something very unique is declarative model, which we're gonna see now. So what is Git? So the we are seeing the lot of fancy terms, which is aligned to DevOps, DevSecOps, DevSecFinOps, DevFinOps. Lot of plus is coming on into our mind and in the industry. These buzzwords are nothing but a framework enhancement of DevOps practices, and which is nothing but a a benefit of our business value. Not just the fancy terms, which also have some value. Like no, even if you implement something, we'll get some value out of it, not just money, even the in terms of automation something, or we're getting some benefits. So yeah, let's get started. So the Git, as we know, it is widely used VCS tool, version control system tool, and some will call SCM, source code management tool. Yes, but what is the term which is attached to Git? which is ops. We know what is git, what is ops. Ops means like no operation things. So once the system is on live, we'll have some people to do the operations part, maintenance of that applications, all these things. So we know what is git, what is ops, but together what is something it makes unique, that's we're going to see now. So we'll just brush up the basics. What is continuous integration? So in continuous integration, we'll see another software development practice where all developers merges their code and leave it. Rest the CI pipeline will take care of it. When I say CI pipeline, until the code packages and keep it ready for the production grade. So usually, what are the tools we will use for the CI things? Jenkins, Travis, Circle CI, and latestly the inclusion is GitHub Actions. So all these things we'll use, and all of us at least know what a CI is. Then something called continuous delivery, so which is something unique. So we can have CI/CD, which means continuous integration and delivery, but some it is not. Continuous delivery in my view is continuous integration plus continuous deployment. So delivery is something like releasing of the application versions in a product life cycle, which means like every once in a 2 weeks we add it earlier. Now we are like every one another minute we are releasing some version, maybe small versions, but it has some impact, which means a business value. It might have some feature, or it is some security patches which is no like stopping us to getting into some trouble. Anything can be that. So the last but not the least, continuous deployment. So once we are done with the CI, like our pipelines are done, integration, which means the unit test done, then the automation testing is done, the code is built, compiled, and we'll get artifactory. What else? It has to be deployed in some system, right? Like, so that is where the continuous deployment is coming to the picture, which means it has the automated life cycle, I mean the pipeline, which will help you to deploy into the desired state, which means desired servers, or in our cloud native world we could see desired Kubernetes clusters also. We can do that. Yeah. So this is what I wanted to show. CI/CD means continuous integration plus continuous deployment. Together we can say continuous delivery. But I'm not still not convinced with my slide. But this is how the market sees. Yeah. So then, as we know, Kubernetes is one of the like we cannot live with. I mean, we cannot live other than Kubernetes with the DevOps world, because it is that much necessary now. We have systems built on top of Kubernetes, maybe a lot of plugins, lot of open source tools built on top of Kubernetes, but the base is Kubernetes. So Kubernetes have a very fancy, I mean the uh, definitions like no portable, extensible, whatever, like no lines and lines. If you Google it, we can get many things. But in my term, what is Kubernetes? It is a container orchestration tool. That's it, as simple as that. But again, if a person who doesn't understand what is container will still question me, what is again container, that is different story. But as a DevOps people, or at least a developer background, if I say there's a container orchestration tool, that means that's enough. Yeah. Then I was vouching for declarative model at the beginning. Like you guys will be thinking, what is declarative? There is another term called imperative also. I'll just spend a minute on here. So declarative model means you can describe whatever one you wanted to achieve in a single file, which means there's a series of instructions you write, but it is in a single file. When you like type one command, like no kubectl apply -f, the simple file, it will do a series of instruction within the single file. You can keep lot of objects, Kubernetes object. You can keep deployment, secrets, config maps, and everything whatever you want, like the services, whatever you wanted to create for your application, you can keep it. But all this will be done at a one single command. Whereas imperative model, without any other file, everything you have to do it by one. For example, if you wanted to create an application, you have to mention kubectl apply. You can do that. You kubectl create, what is the deployment name, the image name. Then all of a sudden I want to scale it to some numbers, right? Again, you have to write same command, kubectl scale, what are the what I mean object you wanted to scale, deployment slash the name, then scale information you have to provide. So this looks easy for a simple application, both we can do. But think about the large scale production systems, like no if you want to maintain some hundreds of applications, that time using this imperative model will be chaos, and sometimes we manually not done well, like no something we can miss, and that might create some chaos. Yeah, this is one I wanted to know. I get it from the internet, want to show you guys. So declarative means we wanted to achieve something, we can use it, I mean achieve instantly. Like I wanted to keep volume middle, I can directly go and type it. But in imperative model, I want to click plus. It will take some time, at least no you for you to get it the required uh, no state. Yeah. So one more last basic thing which I wanted to cover here, which is Kubernetes controllers. So I'm not going to talk about the Kubernetes, no, like complete architecture or the Kubernetes object, which is API server, no, like proxy, HCD, nothing. Just Kubernetes controller, which because it is required for me to explain the GitOps. So this is very important. So controller is like no, as all of us know, it as an endless loop. So it was running in an endless loop, so that it will check on the state which is desired, the state which is current, which means current state, desired state. So when you apply kubectl -f, sorry, kubectl apply -f, some information you are passing, some file you are passing, that time the operations is taking like the API server will fetch the information, which will go and proceed with HCD. Then the no when the information changes will be reflected, and API server again calls to controller to change the current state and the desired state. It will compare and it will give you the change. Then the controller will scale up, scale down based on the instructions what you have given. It will do. So that is very important. Next, the very important thing, GitOps, which was all set, right?
Yes, we are all set. We are all set. Don't worry about
Yeah.
it.
Okay. Fine. Okay. So yeah. So I was giving you a gist. What is Git? What is Ops? Which we already know. But what is GitOps in a very layman time is, which I wanted to tell next. So this is the GitOps definition from the site. No, if you say gitops.tech, this is the explanation. It's a way of implementing continuous deployment and delivery for a cloud native applications, not other than any like let us say the older applications. It's for cloud native application, completely containerized. It was very good options. Like it might rule in upcoming years because it is evolving like anything. Because if you see like which I'm going to talk later, the GitOps operators now it is very less. But future people are like no more companies have started implementing GitOps with their own operators. So this gets evolved. And the starting of the GitOps, when I started my journey, we have only one or two players. Now there are a lot of players coming to the picture and capturing the market. So why is that? What is the benefit? That's we gonna see next. Yeah. So this is the definition. I get it from the AWS. So GitOps is a distillation of a best practices for managing the deployment of containerized application, as well as the cluster infrastructure upon which they run. So it's not just for the apps; it is for the infra also. So when I give you the background of the like GitOps, when I'm talking about the operators, that time you can able to understand why this last line, the cluster infrastructure, is very important, which we gonna see next. So before giving the demo, like I would like to highlight some of the principles, GitOps principles. Yeah, these four things are the pillars for GitOps. One is declarative, which we talked prior, and second is versioning. So when you say Git, it's pure versioning only. So that is also important principle. Third is automatically applied, which we can integrate like no PR kind of merge, PR merges with the GitHub operators, how it is taken into account. Third one is software agents. So when I say agent, as we know, like some operator or some agent will be sitting on the cluster, ensuring the like desired state, actual state, the differences, all those things will cover here. Yeah. So I'm going to give you the gist with respect to Argo CD, which you are seeing here, which will completely, like the demo and everything I have prepared through Argo CD. And there are other players also in the market, which I will talk later. So the first thing, which is declarative. So declarative, I have given a gist already, but I'll again one more time highlight. So it allows to describe the entire system as a configuration as a code, which means whatever required for your application, which means Kubernetes object, deployment, services, config map, secrets, and any ingress if you want to add, and any other information like we can able to keep it in a single file, which means a configuration file. So we might be experiencing the Ansible templates, the Terraform scripts, just which we call as IAC, where here it is a configuration code. So once we ready, like this is very useful for you to know, like like how can I say, the manual efforts will be very much limited over here. Then we call something called versioning. So we already know like Git is a version control tool. So what it is more no like important here is Git is the source of truth for the system which we are about to implement. So in the GitOps model, whatever the changes with respect to infrastructure, with respect to your application, which means the source code, any changes in that Git, it will reflect in the application. So which while doing demo I can able to show that. Yeah, just keep an eye on here. Yeah. Yeah. So because why Git versioning is important here is we keep the Git repository which we are configuring to our clusters through the Argo CD. We will keep all files over there. Any changes in the file, even a small change like a replica, if you keep one or two, if I accidentally change it to some other number, it will immediately reflect once the PR is merged by some other person, like maybe your admin of the repository. So that much sensitive it is. That's when I said I'll talk about the what I say the ugly stories at the end. Yeah, that time I'll tell you what happened in the market when the GitOps started by like people who are managing the GitOps complete operations have done some changes which resulted in some of the big failures also. Yeah, that we can cover later. So then I have mentioned about the agents. Yeah. So whenever you create a PR, like in the current, like no, without GitOps, when you as a developer, I'm writing some code, a piece of code. I have forked some repository. I have done some changes in some of the repository, some module. I'll commit back to the original repository so that I have to create a PR. Once the PR merges, we don't know what going to happen next. Maybe that is integrated with some other system. It might create a webhook to trigger some CA build. We don't know. But whether it will be triggered to some other system, we don't know. But here, what happens when you write up? When you create a PR, once it is merges, the repository and the branch which we are, configured to Argo CD, which will keep on checking. So I'll talk about that later. There is something called push mechanism, pull mechanism. So what is the difference? We're gonna see in the next slides. Last but not the least, the agents, or we can see the operators. Yeah, that is very important because the term was introduced by one of the operators, parent company, which I'm going to tell. That is very interesting because they are the one who coined the term as GitOps. So people are like confusing. What is GitOps? It's again Git or something like something. So we're gonna see that. First is the no market. The first operator or like first GitOps provider is FluxCD. That was as I mentioned, that the term coined by Waveworks. So they are the one who introduced the GitOps model, and through their FluxCD tool. FluxCD was now I hope it has graduated by CNCF. So okay, before that I would like to give a small, few minutes to about the CNCF landscape. So any tool in the open source market, like you wanted to get into the, get into the right people, have to be first signed up with the CNCF, Cloud Native Computing Foundation. As and when you, started your application, if the application at the beginner level, if they found it as very useful, they will keep it as a sandbox project. That is first level. And once that level is done, like some people will be assigned to evaluate the project, and they will evaluate your project whether that is good or it will be add any benefits to the current Cloud Native Computing Foundation members, which means completely a volunteering group. So then they will make it as a incubated stage. Incubated stage, you will get a lot of attraction from the fellow volunteers around the globe. So when I say voluntary, it is not like the no the like some of us, it will be like all when I say the sound engineers, like no engineering team, the core team, who are like founders of some of the applications, will come and check your no open source tools. They will check your product and they will test again some of the tools. Then once those levels completed, they will make you graduated. Once the application is graduated, sorry, the open source tool is graduated, you are all set free, like, which means any organization, like if they have some levels, right? So they can come and adopt your project and test it in in their own environment to make it to get some benefits out of it. So I hope FluxCD is graduated. In the nearest time. I forgot the time exactly. So this is also one of the best tool. Then we go something called Argo CD. So this is very famous, and people around GitOps. If you type in Google, you will. I hope you will get it directly from the Argo CD only. So Argo CD is I could before that I could say it is graduated recently. So by the time the PPT has prepared, it was incubated, which means second stage. Now Argo CD has graduated, which means it was widely accepted project, and people are using like in a production grade to implement their workloads. Yeah, this is one of the good tool. So my demo is based on Argo CD. So I have hosted Argo CD, and all setup is done accordingly. Yeah. Then we have some no like industry best players, Jenkins. So they have their own tool, but it is not under CNCF umbrella. It is their own because it is the enterprises edition. So they have something called Jenkins X to implement the GitOps model. Likewise, we have another big player, GitOps. Sorry, GitLab EE, which means enterprises edition. They're also not under, CNCF umbrella, which means they are not open source. So they also have their GitLab enterprises edition tool. And those who have already worked on GitLab CA, which for them it will be very easy to transform their CD part with GitLab EE. So yeah, so for all now we were talking about the basic things. What is GitOps? What is the benefit? Who is operating? I mean, who is providing the GitOps solution for us? So all good. I'm convinced for all. This all theory things. What is the impact that I'm going to create if I implement these GitOps solution to my current state, which means I have some CI/CD pipeline in my system, which means in my organization or my project. If I introduce GitOps, what is the impact I'm going to create? I'm going to disturb the existing infrastructure or something, or I'm going to creating some chaos on top of that. Nothing like that. So we'll discuss what is the existing thing before GitOps and after GitOps, and what value it is bringing to the production, no, as I said, LSP, large scale production systems, engineering systems. That's been gonna see. So this I just had a very small CI/CD pipeline, nothing fancy, just the typical CI pipeline. I mean CI/CD pipeline. So from the starting, multiple developers commit their code in a centralized repository. That Git operator can be anything, something like GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, anything. Yeah. Once the code is there, I mean committed to the particular repository, if you have configured the webhook, PolSCM, something like that, it will trigger a no some informations, which means a webhook will be triggered. So the build pipeline through Jenkins, Circle CI, Travis, whatever the no I mean integration pipeline you have set up. In the market currently we have GitHub Actions as well. So this will do the series of instructions which you are already configured. So as and when you do those, like the if it is a Java application, it will be first get into the build path, and then it will be compiled, and then we'll get the artifactory. So here, like in this case, we keep it as since it is a cloud native CI/CD pipeline, I directly keep it as an image registry. Like as and when you do the CA part, the end result is like you have to have the CA, Docker image. So this is how the CA thing works. So how this will be get deployed? Again, we'll have to uh, push something, which means once the CA job is done, we again have the pipeline to deploy this image into our clusters, which means the Kubernetes clusters. That can be done through some of the configuration management tools like Ansible or any other. Even we can have it a simple shell script. If the application is very small, we can do that. So this is what I call a push model, which means everything is done on a based on push, which means from left to right. There is nothing called right to left in this model. That is what I'm going to say. So as and when you do, like this is what I'm talking about, the push operations are performed at every stages, like each and every stage. Then before that, I'll going to know before going to this next level, I'm going to show what is the current setup that we have in the market. Sorry, what I have done from my side to introduce the demo. So I have something called Minikube. So you guys, hope you guys are aware. So I have installed Minikube. I have installed Argo CD on top of that. So where I'm going to host my application to give the demo. So if you say Minikube status, you can able to see this. So it is taking some time. It is run configured and everything is done. All good. So then I have installed Argo CD. Like no, I'll give you the instructions how to install the Argo CD. In the interest of time, I have done it already because it will take some time. So yeah, so this is the Argo CD versions and underlying infrastructure, and yeah. So for your information, Argo CD underlying infrastructure is Go. So Go is the backbone for Argo CD. So before getting into the demo part, like I would like to introduce two URLs for you guys. First thing is, yeah, this is what I'm talking, gitops.tech. So in this no URL, like you can able to see all the information from Git. I mean GitOps. This is created by Waveworks. So they are the one who have no like coined that term, as I mentioned. So they have given you the series of like what is GitOps, what is the benefits, like what is the like what is the benefit if you introduce GitOps. Everything they have documented. And they, if you open the page, you can get the PDF. Like it will be very beginner guide for GitOps, so that you can start your journey on top of that. So they have given some information about what is push based deployments, and then they have some information about the pull based deployments, what are the benefits and everything. So this is what we're going to implement, the pull based mechanism, and that's what we're going to see. The second thing, like the pretty much the Argo CD. So here you can see the Argo CD. They have the documentations. It's a very good documentation. It's self-explanatory, nothing new, nothing fancy. If you know Kubernetes a bit, like you can able to like gel on top of that. So this is the Argo CD UI, which I'm gonna show you later. Just giving you the heads up, like what is this. So how to get started. So all these series of instructions, like how to create the Argo CD, no, like the backbones, like no Argo CD applications, other things, everything we have given. So this is the Argo CD, infrastructure. I mean, sorry, the architecture. So how the things are going on. So all these things we will see in the demo part. And then something called features, like what is the benefit if we implement this with Argo CD. So it has a lot of other features like SSO integration, and then it supports the multi-cluster deployments for our disaster recovery or high availability. We can have it. And one good feature with Argo CD is it can have both way, like CLI way as well as UI way. So yeah, like if you noticed it, I have mentioned Argo CD version. This is the CLI way. So all the configurations which I have done through CLI way, that is more, I mean, um, a good way if we are admin, like Argo City admin, like now if you are the one who are going to implement it in your organization, that will be good for you. So UI, we can have the restricted access to the developers or some of our DevOps folks who have joined, like no who doesn't know GitOps but still wanted to explore. We can give the UI way, like they can able to work on top of that. Then we have something called webhook integrations. No, which is very much needed on the market, like then the access token, all these basic things we can able to achieve. Then I would like to show. So there are some basics no before we start the GitOps journey. First thing, as I mentioned, introduction to containers, VM, Docker, and the very much ultimate Kubernetes we have to know. Then something called templating mechanism we have. So maybe the guys who doesn't know Helm and customize, Helm is the no package manager for Kubernetes, like which means like whatever that we have uh, discussed as before, like declarative way, we can keep the single file for all the Kubernetes object. So what if our I mean that file is similar to all other 100 applications, but the name and few other parameters only changes. That time we cannot create all hundreds of the like hundreds of YAML files, single YAML files or multiple files for each applications. That will create I mean too much of a manual effort, and sometimes we might miss some of the elements required for that particular application. So for those who wanted to do for this in the large scale, Helm is the very good no option for them, which like no it is a templating mechanism. Like no when I say templating, still it is again a repository where you can use the variables to pass it. As and when you run the Helm template, you can pass the parameters, and so that you can have the centralized single repository for all your applications. It will be very useful if you want to implement it in a large scale. So customizes one more like no I mean another package manager, but I personally use Helm in my prior projects and current projects. So then, so again there is something called Jenkins. No, you might know, like any CI tool, it's not only necessarily to have a Jenkins, but any tool, if you have a Jenkins, a Travis, a Circle CI, GitLab, no, like CI, anything is fine. This is the fundamentals before starting into the GitOps journey. Then something peculiar to Argo CD, we would like to know these terminologies. It's very nothing fancy, just the terminologies related to Argo CD. If you wanted to implement Argo CD, this is how you have to understand. App, you might know. Application source type, target state, live state. This is like no. You wanted to bit confusing. Target status, which you wanted to like no the want to change. Live status, the existing state. For example, in my like what I say, the GitHub repository, I keep one replica for one of the application. and the next commit I have done 2. So in this state, live state is 1, target state or desired state is 2. So that's how you have to understand sync status and sync operation status. How to differentiate these? Sync status means what is the last commit it happened, what is the current commit it happened, so whether it is aligned with the repository. Sync means it's a action, like you have to make a sync with the current operator, I mean current GitHub or what are the Git repository you want to get. Sync operation status, while doing the sync it will show you the changes, like I'll going to show you live, like how this is gonna take and all. Then something called refresh. So refresh is like just to like how we do the in Windows we'll do refresh just to make sure that things are fine. Any changes in the refresh also you'll get some information. Health and other things are fine. Health, like no, it's a kind of a symbolic representation, like it will be showing as a like kind of heartbeat or a heart broken. So it is some kind of fancy emojis they were using. That looks very easy and no like very no very informative as well. So as and when we see the dashboard, we are all good, like no yeah, our application is fine, no need to worry. So those kind of information they were showing showing in a emoji formats. That looks very good. So yeah, so let's get started. Yeah, okay. Yeah, then I'll back to my demo. Yes, sorry. Yeah. So yeah, this is the GitOps model which we are talking a lot. This is the pull based model. So in the prior state, what you have seen, left to right, all things are left to right, A to B, B to C, C to D, like that. But here the case is reverse for one of the last part. First CA is all left to right, which means all push based. For CD part we are implementing the GitOps operator, no, like any like Argo CD, Flux CD, whatever it is, which will keep on checking your repositories. There is one change if you have noticed from here to this. There is some additional that is called environment repository. This is the change which you're gonna see, because in GitOps model if you wanted to implement, there is a recommendation you have to keep your source code separately and environment separately, which means the, for example, if you're using Helm, for Helm you can consider configuration things, keep that separately, so that as and when you do the image part, I mean the CA image part, the changes will be reflected and you have to create the changes in the environments repository. So this operator, which means the GitHub operator, keeps on checking this environment repository as and when it changes, so that it will directly hit back, observes what are the change and directly do the deployment irrespective of the any like no what I can say, any other validations. So that is why we recommend people be very careful when you do PR merges, because that will impact the system. um, for example, I am a DevOps engineer, I don't know some changes happen from the no like image repository, I mean that repository side, but still I get PR without knowing. If I merges, the image version will change. We don't know, like no, as a DevOps engineer, I don't know what is the image they have written, I mean any logic they have implemented, any web things they have introduced, we don't know. But this will be reflected directly here. So we have a rollback option, but that we can keep it at the last. But before the like no doing the PR merges, we should be very careful. That's why we have to have a very strict mechanism here, like no, okay, is the approval mechanism. Only the dev lead, only the like ops lead have to do the PR approval, PR creation from repo to repo, so that it will be very unique, so that not every people will be creating PR. You can create PR, but the approval part is very crucial. So this is when I would like to have one story on the like ugly truth part, so that we're gonna see. So here, if you observe, until this part, CA part, we have the left to right operations, but CD part we don't have any left to right operations. Only right to left operations, which means pull based mechanism. So that is the one like no unique way, unique mechanism, I mean unique thing we have in the push based pull based mechanism. So yeah, this is the complete CA/CD setup, maybe very high level. If you wanted to implement, keep the operators at the end, like no second phase CD part. So any changes you can keep it here, registry part and everything, which we're gonna see now. So as I mentioned, I have a Minikube running on my system. So where I have hosted the Argo CD and no like other informations. So I would like to show you the Argo CD setup now directly. Yeah, guest book. So I have my Argo CD, like API server and the Kubernetes. I've just port forwarded to this 8080. so that it will be easy for us to think. So I already have one application so deployed on top of this, so it will take some time. Yeah, I guess. Okay, unable to load data, request be terminated. Maybe the port forward thing would be stopped. Yes, that is the thing. 1 minute. Yes, yes. Yeah, I think now it is started. Let's wait for some time. Okay, before that, I'd like to show what are the things I have installed for Argo CD. So Argo CD needs this much of objects. Yes, it has some Argo CD server, no, like some cache mechanism for Redis and metrics, Dex server, and a lot of other tools that is internal to Argo CD. We don't want to know all this information, but yeah, this is required if you wanted to know do as admin part. Yeah, so it is just started. Let's get C. Yeah, it is refreshing. So yeah, so as I mentioned, I have one application, which means like some guestbook application. So which I have hosted. I'll see. So this is how the Argo CD looks like. Okay, I'll delete it and I'll do it from the starting. I'll delete this application. So here I can see if I say Argo CD list, sorry, Argo CD app list. Yeah, sorry, okay, list apps or something. Yeah, maybe you can see here. Just getting deleted. So for now, we don't have anything because it is done and dusted. So we are all good now. So let's get started from the starting. Like no. So before that, I'll just want to give you like how I have set up this Argo CD setup in my local. So I just followed the direct instructions from Argo CD UI. So once you're done, I mean created your no, Kubernetes cluster, you will get the kube config. So what you have to do is you have to create a new namespace and apply this Argo CD project on your cluster. So it will install you series of these many objects, like whatever you are seeing in my screen. These many object it will get deployed to your system. Then we have to do the Argo CD in your local because those whatever the things that we have deployed for the cluster will be unique and this is separate. And then we have to expose the Argo CD API. So for now, this is I have exposed it already just for your information. Then I have to port forward in order to use it in my local. Yeah, I have done that. Then you have to create the secrets. So initially it will have some secrets. On top of that, you can change the password. No, once you log in. Since I have already logged in, it is not showing for me. But yeah, again, reset. Yes, then you have to register the cluster and those informations will be there, like now you have to list the list of objects, I mean Kubernetes clusters. Then you have to add it. Once you add, what it will do, it will create a service account in your cluster so that it will operate, like so that it will create the agents. Sorry, yeah, agent will be created, it will pull the information to get it introduced. Then once all done, it will create the live I mean a nice UI for you guys like this. It will be very simple one. Then on top of that, once you wanted to install the applications, you can install and you can play around, like no, yeah, this is the app. Okay, I don't have the app now, maybe I can take it later. Once you can, I'll just okay, directly guide you how to do this. Then yeah, once all done, so what you have to do is, so this is the repository which I am about to know, like till okay, I'll open the repository what I have in my repository. This is the repository I have, and I have some series of instructions to do. Like now, I wanted to deploy some application. So I'll directly create it. This is the codes. So all these instructions you can directly get it from the Argo CD page, and there are a lot of other blogs also, good blogs. We can directly get it. Yeah, for this demo, I'm creating one demo. Sorry, application, and this is how it looks. Once you done, it will create an application. So which we can see it over here. Maybe yeah, it is there. If you open the applications, so for now it doesn't have anything because it will create the application, but you have to sync it so that it will fetch the information and deploy the objects right from the here. So I have mentioned, I have given you some of the things like sync status, this refresh, everything I have given, and I already told you there are some nice emojis, or you can say symbols you can consider. So this is sync, out of sync. Healthy will be like all green heart, and then the degrade will be like broken heart. This is the progressing, means that it will keep on refreshing. This is missing. That is why we are seeing this in logo. And unknown means like there is some information which is not known by the Argo CD system. Okay, uh, we'll do sync. So sync is like no Argo CD. It will take usually 3 minutes for each sync, like which means it will wait for 3 minutes. So that it will again sync. So in the interest of time, I'm directly doing the sync. So what happens? It is trying to sync. Okay, it happened in a fraction of a second. It synced the application. I mean, it will sync the repository, and it brought the what new pod. Okay, and other than that, there is some endpoint site, and replica set it has. So we'll just compare with whatever we have it in the thing. So yes, I have the deployment which I mentioned, replica one, and other information would be in these repositories. Yes. But yeah, in the interest of time, we'll just see we have this information one. Okay, now what happened, like I have deployed my applications, which you can see it here, and which has one replica set, which has one, I mean, yeah, one replica, and few other informations like one service and things. So I would like to see whether these information are present in the cluster directly. I can go kubectl gate all for the default namespace, because I have not mentioned any namespace over here. So yes, the same information, whatever we are visible in the UI, we can able to see it here. The one part is there, and no, two services. One is very default one, and another guestbook UI, and then we have something one deployment, one replica set. So, for example, if I wanted to expose my application to the external world, how I can do? I wanted to edit it, like something like there is no external IP for my application. No, I wanted to create that. So edit, yeah, because by default it will be cluster IP, because that is how I have configured. So you can do it like once you have your applications manifest file will be in load balancer. So it will open the text pad. So in the space of spec type, I have to mention load balancer. Save it and close it. The changes would reflect. Yes, this is the changes. Now we have to see the external IP is still not created. It will take a fraction of, I mean, very few seconds maybe. Again, I have to check. Yes, now we have this external IP. Copy this, create a new tab. It will take some time because it is happen very fraction of a second. Okay, and yeah, get SVC. Yes, this is what we have. Maybe it will take some time. So just see here. There is no change in the UI because we have not touched any infrastructure things. We just made one additional thing, which is exposing the my application to the internet. Okay, yes, come. Okay, it is taking some more time. Yeah, application has come up. So it's a very basic application, which is from the Argo CD example. I mean, manifest files. I've just used it. So sample application, you can type hello or something. It is there is no functions on top of that. It's a blank application. Yeah, just wanted to give you a head. Just like if you wanted to expose your application to the internet, we can use this option. And all good, all looks good, which is like we have hosted application in Argo CD. We have exposed it to the internet. like what is extra benefit which I want? That is where I am coming to the picture. Yes, okay, go to your Argo CD examples repository. This is the repository which is linked to this Argo CD because that is how we have configured. And there is one cluster with Minikube, it is configured. Now what I'm doing, I'm going to edit because I'm not creating a PR because I am the only person who's working on this project. So I don't want to create a PR and someone has to approve. I'm directly committing no here, which is not, it's not a best practice. For the demo purpose, I'm doing it. Yeah, let's make three replica. I'm just changing the infrastructure and yeah, the important part is commit message. So scale app to 3. Sorry, my bad. Scale, yeah, scale app to 3, like app count we can mention something like that with some meaningful information as a commit message. I do the commit, I have done the commit, okay, it's done. Go back to github, I mean Argo city UI. There is no change because Argo city will take 3 minutes to sync. So we can see the sync status when it got synced last. We can see that this is useful when you wanted to implement multiple. So in the interest of time, what I'm doing, I'm directly going to the sync, I'm syncing manually. Okay, just observe what are the changes. It is syncing, going to out of sync, and then creating the three parts if you have noticed it. So there is no change with respect to the whatever the load balance that we have created. Go back, hit again, there is no change. Okay, the application remains same. Only thing is that we have increased the scale to 1 to 3. So for example, the image which I used, I have created a new version which is creating some chaos. Okay, which means like instead of this green symbol, it might be on a red like no degraded symbol. That time what I have to do, I want to do a rollback. How can I do the rollback? Okay, so there is something called history and rollback. Here you will have the informations, like for example when I have done the changes, what are the commit message I have given. So this will be displayed for both source code as well as I mean the Helm chart repository, or you can see the config repository. So for example, I have done scale up to config count to 3. So this is the commit message I have given. So when I have committed, this is displaying over here. Who I'm created like myself because I have done the commit. Okay, these informations. Like for example, if I have done some changes, for example, this is the part I wanted to see the live manifest versus decide manifest. So if you see here, it is live manifest because there is no decide manifest. There is no change in the repo. If you have done the changes, if you come over here, you could see the changes over here. Okay. Okay. Coming back to our thing, rollback. So if I wanted to do a rollback, but before committing, without committing the Git repository, I can do still do that. Go rollback. If I had done the rollback, it will go out of sync and it will restore the previous state. But still my state is set out of sync because my repo is having number 3, sorry, replica as number 3, but my current status is only 1 because I have done my rollback. So I'll get some time. I can because this is like no, I cannot wait for 3 minutes or something to do this changes, or I don't have like no directly go and create manually edit it. Like I have done it manually because I have the permission. If somebody is there, I have to create a PR, so it will take some time. So instead of that, I can directly go and do the rollback over here, at least retain my state, previous state. So if I, it will again change back. So I don't want this, I again want to sync it, do it, sync. So it will come to sync and new application, I mean replicas will come up. So this is how the Argo cd functions. So it's that, I mean that pretty much very easy, as simple as this, like no very much you can for now I have only one application. For the demo purpose you can have multiple applications. No, you can view it like no very granularly, like this, or like no you wanted to have a tabular format. You have a different no, these are like live how my app functions from where to where. For me, like I have only community subject X part. If I have a some other config map secrets, everything will be come over here. It will be very useful for you to even understand the architecture. Like if I have new to Kubernetes and you want to learn more things about it, it will be very easy. So I will keep it like this because it's for me this is good. So for example, I'm deleting one part from here. What happens? I'll delete it. Immediately it will come back because my application type is replica set. Like it won't let. Okay, I'll directly see here. Like I directly see. So it is SVC. Get all. I'll delete one part. Okay. Immediately I'll go and check. Okay. Okay. It already came the 1 second. Okay, I'm late here. So this is how the Argo CD works and these functions. And yeah, so this is how the entire setup and the things. So I have shown you the Argo CD my GitHub page. It's public. You can directly go and check, and even you can have it from the Argo CD examples. And I have shown you this GitOps tech as well as Argo CD documentations. This looks good. And then if we wanted to like know benefit, we have seen the benefits, live benefits, like how easy it is to orchestrate and even manage our Kubernetes clusters, irrespective of like no, most of us will be very much within the CLI. No, no, all no, no. I have to do only kubectl get all, or kubectl get pod, or kubectl get SVC. It's easy, but still, if it is very visualized and you have this much of information displayed over here, it's very easy. So there are a lot of other tools in the market which will make your Kubernetes journey easy. Is something called devtran, like the organization which created the product. It's very easy to manage the Kubernetes manifest, I mean not even the manifest files, entire Kubernetes clusters. So you can see the live logs, you can see the different objects in a very good fashion. I'm trying it on my own. Like I have to get help from the guys from the devtran, like Vishwas, and someone will might help me. Okay, I will to see how value it is. It looks good, very good. I got the one demo from in my previous meetups. Like I have seen these guys have done very good, fantastic job. But yeah, we'll implement it in a very production scale system. We need some checkings and testing. Yeah, that's from our side we have to do. So again, get back to the PPT. So we have discussed all these things. We have seen the live demo of how the changes have done, and image registry part, environment repository. So for this part, on my bad, I have keep only one repository. Still, that's fine because my application is very simple, so I can keep this. And operator, I have used Argo CD that observe state deployment, everything we have seen. What next? So what are the benefits? So for now itself, you might be knowing a lot of benefits you have seen with respect to the GitOps model that we have improved. So improve the system observability, because what happens, like mostly the observability part, like people will only concentrate on the applications metrics, which mean the app metrics. It's not like that. Like no, again, yeah, by infrastructure metrics, but there is something called no, like tracing, open tracing. Metrics, and then the something called transaction metric. There are a lot of other metrics, so which makes our system very complex with respect to like keep the application maintain in a very good state. So with this GitOps model, you have all your informations over UI. It will be very easy for you to check any changes, even the logs we can able to see. I mean, anything we can see. Then the improve security. So without GitOps, what happens? Like if you want to give some access to the developers, we'll give the cluster access. We can create the role, RBAC roles, and create it, but still we are giving some of access to the developer part. So that we can reduce, because admin part we can take care of, because as a DevOps engineers, we are responsible for that. Anything that goes wrong with the application, anything with respect to infrastructure also, that is in our head. So we can do that. And simpler disaster recovery. So I have all said things, I have done it from the minikube, which is very basic thing. From my system itself I have done. So what if my application require a HA, which means a high availability I need? What I could do, one cluster I have it from AWS, another cluster I can keep it in a GCP, so that anything goes wrong with the one no cloud provider, I can directly switch back. So any change, that change is very simple. As like this, just go and change from which I mean node selector you want to select, directly switch back. It will directly deploy everything very with a very minimal downtime that when required HA. Yes, another thing. So this has to recovery done. Increase the productivity. See, in the entire CI/CD pipeline, what we have discussed so far, uh, the work of the like all the operation guys and middlemen's, like which means like some like for automation testing, we were depending on people who are doing automations. Once we have done the automated testing with integrated, so there is no need of a person who can take care of. At least yes, provided you have some very limited human interventions needed. So for the entire model, we are reducing the time, wait time, maximum wait time of the persons who want to do the integrations and are who are involving in these activities. And sometimes we'll wait for the system also to respond back, because some will have some like their own state of working, so we'll wait. So in this model, end to end, we can integrate with very minimal what I can say, the wait time or anything that goes wrong also we can do. Someone can accountable for that also. For example, I have done some changes in the GitHub repository. For example, I accidentally changes, like with the edit I have changes to 1 to 3, or some service I have deleted by thing, but somehow it got approved also. We can see who have done the wrong, like no in the that is very useful from the Git, no, like that is the one most more benefit. We can see who has done the change, we can able to see. Even here also, like if you have done the commit and that is in the live, we can directly see this is the who's the author, like of the last commit, and what changes you have done, you can able to see. Again, if you want to further deep dive, you can directly see the manifest, no, like any with respect to infrastructure, we can see the manifest, and what is the image version that we are having, or any issue with respect to image, we can directly go and check it. So those benefits we can see live, so which will be very beneficial for our application maintenance, and complete orchestration will be very useful, and it will increases the productivity. Then the most expected, which I was now watching a lot, is the ugly truths. So what goes wrong, or what will go wrong if you not maintain your entire GitOps setup uh, rightly, which means you have to structure the environment repo as well as the like which means the source code repo as well as the config repo. And other than that, there is something called Argo City admin repo, which I not talked, because that is on a more of a admin part, so we don't need that. As a developer, you guys have to focus on this. As a DevOps person, yes, it's our headache or our no like own work, we have to do that. Yeah, let's get started to that. Yes. So if you're not maintaining the repository clearly, which means that connectivity or any changes you have done, there is no control on the PR merges who have done what, then we are into the very big trouble, because any changes in the Git particular branch which we are maintaining, which we are mentioning to the GitHub, Argo City repo, it will create the changes accordingly, and there is no one to like no stop it, like until unless we wait for the 3 minutes window, there is nothing called again we have to wait for the downtime. If anything goes wrong, that will have some business impact, we might lose some money, or if it is a AP application, we have to face some downtime on top of that. Then something called the secret management, which I feel GitOps model, I could not say lack, but because what happens, like most of the people like keep their GitOps secrets in directly in the repository, and keep the restricted access, but that is not the good way to keep the secrets. We have to find our own way to keep the secrets, like even it as a manual or some automated tools, like keep it in a Ashikop vault or some other tool, still fine, but find our own way. Then something called GitHub suggestions, like which means so what I have to improve, like when I say suggestions, or I can say the best practices, keep the two different repo, not like mine, because my application is very simple, just for the demo purpose. I don't want to switch back to repos, other repos, and do that, but still that's fine. Maybe for the understanding, we have done it in the interest of time. But keep two different repos, one for source code, another for manifest, like which means the Helm chart part, if you wanted to keep it, or customized templates you want to keep it aside, so that it will be easy for you to distinguish this repository is only for developers, but we are maintaining it. But still, for other repository, that is also developer will push their information, but we are the one who are owner for that repository, which means the DevOps person has to be the owner for the repository. So it will be in a distinguished one, so that we cannot always do that blame game. Yeah, developers fault, no, the ops fault, no, nothing like that. We have to define the standards of instructions, like this is the repository, you're owning it, you have to raise the PR this way, and we are responsible for this. Together we work for the application, whatever the project that we are working on. Then one more thing, again, I'm watching for the secrets. So don't store your secrets in the GitHub repositories, or whatever the repositories, Git operators you are using. If you wanted to use, still if you wanted to use, do it in an encrypted, like no, again we can decrypt it on the other way, like we can use that. So yeah, that's all I have. If you wanted, like I'm just thinking, like I have covered everything what I had. I'm just thinking, yes, yeah. So these instructions, if you want to know, start like no Argo CD, you wanted to set up in your local, yeah, you directly go to head over to Argo CD, no documentation. Yeah, it's very easy. If you Google it, you directly you can get it. And there are other operators also, as I mentioned. Flux CD is there. If you're already working, your organization has a GitLab enterprises version, which means that license, you can head over to GitLab EE for this or GitOps model. Then Jenkins X, that is also there. But pretty much the open source tool which we have is Argo CD. That is very much do the justice. And some information about Argo CD. The time when Argo CD started, it has a lot of bugs, and yeah, now it is pretty much stable. That's why we got the status. I mean, we see the status in the CNCF as graduated. So there are other features coming up, like lined up, like Argo CD rollouts, Argo CD workflows. In the recent Argo Con also, they have introduced that. But yeah, still it will take some more time to get stabilized. So that's why people are not started the journey towards Argo workflows and rollouts. Still, I feel that is safer, and we'll get one more thing. So I missed to add one more point. If you wanted to learn the entire things, no setup, there is something called no Code Fresh. So Code Fresh, you can learn your Argo CD. I mean, basic certifications. Like there is something called GitOps certification. So GitOps, yeah, there are courses. Let's see. Yeah, GitOps fundamental and GitOps skill, it's all free. So it's not the sole certification for Argo CD, I mean GitOps. But yeah, with respect to Argo CD, if you want to like do the your start your journey, this is very good tool. No, like I mean the course, as well as it have the live labs as well as the contents. Like no, you feel like both you are doing parallelly, and you will gain the certification also. So fundamental certification, it's easy, and scale certification, you have to twist your no, like they will give some twist questions, and even the concepts are also good. So that will be useful if you wanted to know, like implement a large scale production system. So both certification I have completed. So GitOps fundamentals I have done it 2021. At scale I have done last year 2022 in the October time or something. Yeah, this will be very useful. So I have already done it. So you guys, it will be very much useful for you to start the journey. So yeah, I think yes. So thanks to the like the resources that I am getting, like Spark Fabric, Waveworks, the slideshare things. So thanks for all. um, and then thank you. This is about me. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me in the LinkedIn, and then you can question, I mean no, comment it on your question. So I'll, when I get time, I'll try to no answer those questions. Yeah, that's it. I think we'll head over to yes, Vishwas. Yeah,
Sure,
I'm done.
sure. I think there is a lot that we have in Devtron as well. Devtron is also giving out so much of, I think, CI/CD where we are giving you that developer enablement. I think GitOps gave a lot of introduction to us. I think GitOps really meant a lot for us when we give that
Yes,
enablement to the developers. Like that is what we always prefer. Like we need it to be there on our entire infrastructure. We need it to be in our, what do you call that? A fraternity of engineers need to get the ease of doing something with GitOps. I think that's what Devtron
correct.
was also all about. I think thank you so much for such great insights. And there are a lot of questions. I think let's go ahead with the
Yes.
questions. I think I have to take the window, and here we go.
Wow.
So
Okay.
Rashmi from Amadeus Lab, yes.
Wow. So any changes to the application config? Do we need to restart? Yes, that is very much required. Yeah, I think I missed to mention that. Thanks, Rashmi. Yeah. So any changes, like not like no, not with GitOps even, like no, even with the typical Kubernetes manifest deployments also. If you want to do any config change, it require definitely needs a restart. Yes. Can we take some
Sure.
questions? Other questions?
Yeah. I think there were some more things. Low sync time
Okay. Okay.
50 to 1 or less.
No, it's not in our control because that is the product feature. So we have to stick to that. But still, if you wanted to have it, if you want to keep the things live, we can have it. We can do the manual sync. So if you have the time, you can
So,
wait until that.
I think that's the end of the questions. I think somebody was
Okay.
so jacked up for the questions. They wanted a lot of questions to be there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think Devtron as an open source software has made a lot of impact. I think you're using it. So I just wanted to know how has been your experience till now?
Yeah. So yeah, as I mentioned earlier, like no Devtron, I have introduced no last year. Like I have get the demo from the Devtron guys. Like it looks very easy. I mean, like very easy from the DevOps engineer perspective to orchestrate the Kubernetes clusters and the live things with respect to the logs and whatever that we have. We got it very if it is an open shift, like we can able to see these informations. But if not, like any AKS, any cloud providers, still we can. But Devtran has one more advantage, so maybe we can have the separate session, like maybe when we done with the product review, we can get more information and we can share that to the community.
Sure, sure. I think thank you so much, sir, for such great insight. And also, there's a lot that we have to offer with respect to Devtron. Devtron is going to give a lot of GitOps sessions as well. So feel free to just have those sessions from our side. Just
Sure.
go ahead with it. Do explore our tool as well, because our tool has one of the best of the best GitOps as one of the practices. You still can go ahead and have that experience live in front of you. So that's it. And anything else, sir?
Nothing, Vishwas. Yeah, I'm good. So I'm looking forward the like further more opportunities. And thanks Devtron and Vishwas giving me the opportunity to give my presentation. It was nice interacting with the communities. Yeah, thank you.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much, folks. This is Vishwas Nayan signing off from this webinar. See you soon, folks.
Yeah.